back for week 2 of the new season of the new year, I guess.
I know it.
On Poke Nation. Heath Schwer, Jim Gazzolo. So you just swept four games at home against 3 of the top 4 competitions, I think, in the league.
Yep.
Your thoughts on that?
I think we played well. I thought our crowds were great.
Crowds were very good.
I think the energy in the arena was phenomenal, and the league has gotten a lot better. I mean, I know we've said that before, but statistically, I mean, when Coach Wade got here 3 years ago, we were 29th, I think, in the country out of 31. This week we're 17th.
17th in one, 18th in another. Yeah.
I mean, so our league has gotten a lot better. I think you're seeing that. But I really think we played well Monday night against Nichols. I think we were really locked in and played really well. And those games are hard because they're back to back, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a Saturday, Monday. But I think Coach Armstrong and his staff, and we're going to have Peyton, one of his assistants, here momentarily. I think they've done a really good job of figuring out how to manage their weeks. And I think that as a coach is really, really important on, hey, like, we're going to do this on a Sunday between, a Saturday and a Monday. And after a Monday, this is what we do on Tuesday. I mean, I think that's really figuring out how to manage the week is important.
Yeah, and how to make sure they're fresh for that second
That's
game.
exactly
I think
right.
you saw the difference with Nichols last night, or Monday night, was I thought that they played a lot of minutes on Saturday.
Yeah.
And they did not have their legs early in that game.
I agree.
It came back to them a little bit, and but with 10 minutes left in the game, 11 minutes left in the game, you're up 31 points. Then they just start firing threes all over the place and hit some and close it a little bit. The game was never in doubt.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think we played really well. But I was just really impressed with the crowds for the 4 games.
Yeah.
Right. I think that, I mean, obviously Lamar on a Friday, and then you have SFA on a Monday. I mean, Southeastern Saturday, and then Nichols Monday. I mean, I think that I'm just really, really excited, and I'm also happy about the turnout. Right, people are starting to say like, we actually have a real basketball program here that and it's fun to come to, and the games are great, and so it's been fun.
And they showed up for the women's game against Lamar, even though it was a Saturday standalone.
100%. And
the Thursday night standalones are still a little bit different, but Saturday.
Yeah, and the crowds for our women have gotten better. So it's, and as we sit right now, both our men and women are in first place.
First time since, do you know?
I do not.
See, you got to read the paper, man. 2011, 2012 was the last time you had 2 teams this late in the year in first place.
Wow.
And they both won the league that year.
Wow. Well, hopefully we can do it again.
So that's an interesting fact of 16 years, 15, 16 seasons. So I think the women's thing is exciting to the fact that if you can have a good women's game early Saturday, more people come, get excited. They're not going to be, first of all, they're not going to be coming in late in the women's game, which disrupts the women's game and is a little bit weird.
Right.
But also, it hypes up the whole day.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
It gives you a reason to be there. Football's now winding down as far as television goes. So it's an interesting thing. You also have a very baseball and softball coming up, which are going to be interesting years. You're bringing the probably number one player in the country, but number one team in the country here. So this has a chance to be a good spring.
I think so too. I think that both of our basketballs are on a great trajectory, and I think obviously baseball and softball have historically been good, and I expect them to be good again. And so we do. We have an opportunity to have an amazing spring.
Well, softball should be very good, actually. One thing I wanted to ask you though is Friday ends the portal for football.
Yeah.
It is a weird time because the portal will open up again later on. But it ends and gets kids in on the semesters, and that. As you sit here and we talk about now 16 teams going to the playoffs next year is probably likely, maybe up to 24 the year after. Is there any stopping of what's going on? Is there a way to stop this? When ADs talk, is there anything the NCAA can do?
To stop the portal.
Portal, and then just everything else that goes on with it.
Personally, I had a conversation with Chris Grant after the game. We went and grabbed a bite to eat. I think.
You don't invite me?
I think. No. Sorry, we forgot you. But I heard. But you had a job to do. You were writing and getting that. I think it's going to have to come down to collective bargaining. I don't think there's any other way.
More lawyers will get involved.
Yeah, maybe. But
The problem with collective bargaining is still the same thing. If I'm a 15, 14-year-old kid, who's bargaining for me? I'm not going to be in it for 4 years. It's a weird.
It is.
Weird.
But I mean, where does it end? I don't know. I mean, I think that it is a crazy time, and it's for McNeese, especially football, and it's not. It's no different than anywhere else. Like LSU right now has 100 and they're going to 105 scholarships.
Yeah.
Okay, so they can come down to the group of 5 or group of 6 to FCS and say, hey, we'll pluck you, you, and even if those guys aren't going to play a ton, they're going to go to a Power 4 and be on scholarship and
make some money.
And so it really, you truly have to embrace what it is, and it's something that none of us love, but it is what it is. And, I think that for us, we have to, figure out guys that, hey, I don't want to do that. I want to come down here and really play and really develop. And then you also have to be okay with saying, hey, some of these kids are going to come here for a year or two, develop, and they're going to be gone. And we have to do that again.
Yeah, it's a weird time, but also the NCAA makes a ruling on the quarterback Chambliss at Ole Miss, and then he immediately says, well, I don't like the ruling. I'm going to go to court.
I'm going to go to court.
So
in Mississippi.
That's where we are.
Right.
He's going to go to court in Mississippi.
In Mississippi, right.
I'm pretty sure he's going to win that case in Mississippi.
Yeah.
I don't know if the NCAA wants to go all the way up. By the time you go all the way up to the Supreme Court, season's over. He's already played.
Right.
So it's just they've beaten the system. When we come back, Peyton Prudhomme will talk about his grandfather, Dale Brown, McNeese basketball, and kind of his journey to McNeese after this on Poke Nation.
What makes having a local lawyer important is it's all about relationships. When judges know the lawyer and the lawyer has established credibility over time with the court, they know enough to trust what you're telling them. Lake Charles must be a wonderful place because now lawyers all over the state claim that Lake Charles is their hometown. I thought you could only have one hometown, and I know this is ours.
Well, it's game day at the Legacy Center, and the McNeese Cowboys are warmed up and ready to play. Cowboys have a new player this year, number 22, Katie Ferdinand. This girl loves basketball and McNeese so much she can't wait to get out on the floor. And we're off. Shoemate tips the brewer, and there goes Katie.
Ferdinand Financial Group supports the McNeese Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to do some really big things. Really big.
McNeese athletes bring big energy, big plays, and big spirit to every game. That's why Lakeside is proud to be such a huge fan. We're a hometown team too, in the business of backing big dreams across our community every day. And we always bank on big wins with McNeese Sports. Go big with Lakeside and McNeese.
Join Don's Wash Club and score big on clean rides all season. Unlock discounts on washes, interior cleanings, oil changes, and more. Whether you're tailgating or heading home after the game, keep your ride looking like a pro. Not ready to commit? No worries. Scan the QR code on screen to see what we're all about. Enjoy your ride with Don's on McNeese, Ryan, and Nelson.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. We have a special guest. I'm excited to have Peyton Prudhomme. Welcome, assistant basketball coach. How you doing, my man?
Good, thanks for having me.
Good. Welcome to Poke Nation.
He's only 30 years old. He's been doing this for 8 years.
I know. He's got an early start, just like I did when I just got started really early. It's great.
Let's hope he doesn't end up like you.
Hey, so let's get right into it. This is your first year, obviously, with Coach Armstrong. Talk about you've been in the business now 8 years. Talk about your path and how you got here.
Yeah, starting out, did a GA at Baylor for 2 years under Coach Scott Drew, and it's kind of how I got to know Coach Armstrong was during his Baylor tenure. Did some scrimmage things and got connected that way. Then went on 5 years at Grand Canyon for Scott Drew's brother, Bice Drew. Held various roles there, operations, assistant coach, and after 5 years at Grand Canyon, linked up with Coach Armstrong and said, I was ready to come home. Being a Louisiana native, and here I am.
So what is, when you first got here, obviously coaches, talked to you about, hey, come in, this is what we got, et cetera. What was your thoughts when you first got here?
I was blown away by just the support here, the facilities, and really just what McNeese had to offer, and that's why I came. I was just absolutely stunned with everything that was here and, the community in Lake Charles.
Because, what some people don't realize is Grand Canyon is in the WAC now. They're going to Mountain West, is a real basketball school. I mean, they've been really, really good. So for you to say, hey, I'm going to leave an assistant job there to come here, I think says a lot, right?
Oh, definitely. It was a mandatory move for me getting home, and like I said, there was no risk at all. It was, I'm going to come here and I'm going to win, just like I did at Grand Canyon, and that's what we've done so far. So it was a great move on my part.
The interesting thing is, back a long time ago, I used to cover Homer Drew at Valparaiso.
Yep.
So I know the Drew family well. The brothers were also assistants there. Of course, they had the big moment in the NCAA tournament with the big shot that everybody talks about. But the thing for you is, you've played and basically coached on this level, which is mid-major, up-and-coming program. Grand Canyon became a program that McNeese is trying to get to still. What do you see as the similarities, and what are the opportunities you think for mid-majors?
I think it's an opportunity where you build a roster with enough talent, you can compete with anyone. Mid-major or not, I think that you have an opportunity here, and like we had at Grand Canyon, you can compete with those teams on the NCAA tournament floor with the talent that we brought in.
And you obviously have seen the change of mid-majors, and is it more competitive now because of NIL? Does that make it different? Because it used to be the mid-majors would have to kind of build their program for years. Then when they got the older players, they would compete. Now you can almost turn it around right away. McNeese turned it around in 3 years.
No doubt. It's year by year. You're bringing in guys every single year. Hopefully you can keep a few, but you bring in guys year by year, and NIL's changed that. And there's a lot more parity now, just all throughout the sport, and especially in the mid-major.
And of course, the big question is, can mid-majors, when they start winning, ever get games against big schools?
It's getting harder.
It's getting harder, yeah.
I'll tell you that. It's definitely getting harder. We had a hard time this year, but, we ended up getting Michigan. But, it's getting harder.
So talk about this, Coach. Obviously, this year we were able to your point, we were able to keep DJ, Garcia, Tajon Brown, like we were able to keep, but really DJ and Garcia, Javon was the player of the year. So how important was that? And then when you had those pieces, I think I'd love to know what you guys talked about building a team, right? Like not just accumulating talent, but putting the pieces together.
Yeah, it started with those three. I mean, you bring back the player of the year, you bring back the best shooter in the league, and then, just a pit bull and Tajon, and you build around those guys. The culture was set from those three, and Coach Armstrong laid it out and said, hey, let's get some guys around them. And, we wanted length, we wanted speed, we wanted athleticism, and we wanted guys that can guard. So getting those three back set the table for us to build the rest of the roster, and, I think we're happy with how it turned out.
So the question for me is, Monday night, there's a little skirmish on the court, and Coach Armstrong decides we're going to bring in 2 or 3 players to kind of calm things down. And you bring in DJ.
DJ's growing. He's growing.
DJ is a calming force. You ever think you would see that?
It just is a testimony to how much he's grown. We rely on him in those situations to calm our guys down, and I think he did do it.
He actually did it. That was the weird part about it.
Yeah, so it's credit to DJ and how far he's come, and Coach Armstrong's trusting him to be the mature adult in this situation.
And that is, and this our fan base knows DJ and loves DJ. He's generally not the calmest guy out there, but he settled it down. You guys now suddenly are 14-3, which is a lot of people say, well, they didn't look the same. We don't know what we're going to get, different coaching staff and all that. But you're pretty much right on course, aren't you?
I'd say so. A couple bumps in the road, but that's part of it. And, you're going to take some dips and some ebbs and flows. But I think that the team's responded well to the new staff and, keeping that same culture in place that Coach Wade had with those three guys that we just talked about. And, I'd say we're happy with where we're at, but still have a long, long way to go.
Yeah, but losing at Santa Clara and at Michigan are not. That's nothing. A lot of people are going to do that.
That's right. We want to win them all, though.
So, Coach, talk about this a little bit too, real quick, before we finish this segment. What is your thoughts on the league?
League's competitive, fierce. Every single game's hard. It's gotten better every single year. I played in this league years ago. Been very impressed with the league this year. One of the highest it's ever been rated, and it's a very hard league, day in and day out.
Yeah, much better. We've talked about that before,
better.
but it's much
Yep.
better league than before. When we come back, we'll have more with Peyton after this on Poke Nation.
What makes having a local lawyer important is it's all about relationships. When judges know the lawyer and the lawyer has established credibility over time with the court, they know enough to trust what you're telling them. Lake Charles must be a wonderful place because now lawyers all over the state claim that Lake Charles is their hometown. I thought you could only have one hometown, and I know this is ours.
Well, it's game day at the Legacy Center, and the McNeese Cowboys are warmed up and ready to play. Cowboys have a new player this year, number 22, Katie Ferdinand. This girl loves basketball and McNeese so much she can't wait to get out on the floor. And we're off. Shoemate tips the brewer, and there goes Katie.
Ferdinand Financial Group supports the McNeese Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to do some really big things. Really big.
McNeese athletes bring big energy, big plays, and big spirit to every game. That's why Lakeside is proud to be such a huge fan. We're a hometown team too, in the business of backing big dreams across our community every day. And we always bank on big wins with McNeese Sports. Go big with Lakeside and McNeese.
Join Don's Wash Club and score big on clean rides all season. Unlock discounts on washes, interior cleanings, oil changes, and more. Whether you're tailgating or heading home after the game, keep your ride looking like a pro. Not ready to commit? No worries. Scan the QR code on screen to see what we're all about. Enjoy your ride with Don's on McNeese, Ryan, and Nelson.
We're back with McNeese basketball assistant coach Peyton Prudhomme. Peyton, one of the things about you is that makes you famous is, I guess, or known well, is your grandfather.
Yes, sir.
In Louisiana, a legend in Dale Brown. Following in his footsteps, what's that been like? And does it help? Does it hurt? Or do people want to know more about you because of that?
It's meant everything to me growing up with a Hall of Famer as my granddad, going to Final Fours as a kid with him. We went to 6 or 7 together, and I got hooked instantly. Getting to meet the likes of Bill Self, Rick Pitino, and hang out with those guys as a kid. It's kind of what got me into the business, and I always knew I wanted to coach. And I'd say it's helped me get on at Baylor whenever Homer Drew was an assistant of his, and it's just been a blessing really. And coming back home, it's really come full circle. Getting to be closer to him.
You're a mass communications major, though.
That's right.
And then you get into coaching, and then sports psychology. Talk about the sports psychology now, especially with these kids, because you're dealing with a completely different athlete in a college than you were when you started. Back when you played, you're dealing with now businessmen. How has that changed?
Yeah, the title is actually sports pedagogy, but very similar to sports psychology. And it goes from the mental and the psyche of the kids and figuring out how to connect with these kids. And it's a learning process. I've learned every single year how to get closer with these kids and figure out what makes them tick. And I'm still learning day by day, but definitely getting my graduate degree, and it's helped me.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach. So obviously, you've had conversations with your grandfather and Coach Brown. What was some of the things he said, hey, when you get in this business, remember, like what are the couple things that you take from him or took from him when you first got in that was his advice?
I'd say the first thing would be just being authentic and being yourself. He always stressed that to me, and I think he was always genuinely himself as a coach and still is to this day. So I'd say the number one thing he instilled in me was just being yourself and not trying to be anything you're not.
So, does he watch our games?
He does.
Does he? Mm-hmm. And does, after the games or whatever, do you get a text or a call and say, hey, what about this or this? Or
Yeah, not every single game, but after the Michigan game, we had a long phone call.
It's like, why the hell are you scheduling them?
Yeah. But he definitely is tuned in. He loves Larry Johnson, and we definitely talk quite often.
Does he wonder who the goofy cheerleader AD is?
Oh, he knows Coach Schroyer. He knows Coach.
Who's that guy? Okay, so your career now, as you kind of move up, how much does Coach Armstrong let you do? How much are you learning as you go? Because it's not only for this staff, but this is a new group of players you guys are learning. It's not like one of those things where these are all fresh guys for you too. How much does that grow into?
Credit to Coach Armstrong for trusting me with what he does trust me with recruiting and helping Coach Coker with the offense. It's been a blessing, really, on how much Coach Armstrong leans on me to, get the players right, and like we went back to, with their mental. So, dealing with that day in and day out has been awesome.
Recruiting-wise, how much recruiting do you do during the season now, or is it a rush at the portal? Is it because this is, the recruiting of high school kids is completely different than the recruiting of your roster now.
Sure.
How much of a rush is that? And do you have to wait until almost like a signing period in the NBA or the signing period of baseball?
I'd say you're always working. You're always working just at different tempos of the year. And there is a rush at the end, but you're always putting feelers out there. You're always working. You're always recruiting.
I think too, correct me if I'm wrong, but, the days before when, years ago when I was coaching, you had to have relationships with the AAU coaches and all that, which you do obviously still. But now you're having relationships with agents.
Yeah,
that's right.
Right, because so I'm sure, and I'd love for you to talk about this. Is for your weekly, say, hey, like I used to say, hey, I've got to make X amount of calls per week, right? How many of those calls are really just to agents saying, hey, this is what we're looking at, or what do you? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's all it is now. You still have those relationships with the grassroots guys, with the high school guys, junior college, but it's probably 20 calls a day to different agents. You have your kind of your Rolodex of different people that you talk to, and you're probably fielding around 20 a day just to different people, agents, runners.
And then it's interesting because Coach mentioned this when he got here, and I think we could see it with our roster. Is we got players this past year because of the NCAA success and the success we had in those 2 years that, with all due respect, I don't think some of these guys would have answered the call from McNeese because they didn't even know who McNeese was.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about how far we've come, and now you're here saying, so when you talk to these guys, what is the mentality across the country about McNeese basketball?
Oh, I've seen it time and time again. You get on that tournament floor and kids want to come to your school. 3 years ago, I wouldn't have come to McNeese probably.
Right.
But, now they've been to the tournament we've been to the tournament 2 times, and at Grand Canyon we went 4 out of 5 years, and it just helps recruit. It's everything for recruiting is getting on that tournament floor. Kids want to play on the biggest stage. Kids want to, hold the trophy up and win the conference tournament, and, playing in March Madness is every kid's dream. Yeah. So you do that, and you get the players.
This is a bus league, as they call it. You get the worst bus trip of the league coming right now after 4 straight home games. How important is this next stretch of 4 or 5 games on the road to kind of establish that ground of we're one of the contenders?
Coach Armstrong always says that the most important one's the next one. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a really, really hard game, especially going on the road, and we got to prove that we can win on the road. So the next one's just the most important one.
Has anything about this league surprised you, the physicality or anything?
Yeah, I'd say it's been more physical, a little more chippy than I anticipated, which is good, though. I like that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, one thing is it became a lot chippier around here when they started to win, that's for sure. You saw it Monday night. You saw it against Lamar. We saw it against Stephen F. So what's your overall take on this facility, though? Because that's one thing is when you look at mid-majors, the Grand Canyons, and some of them, there's a big gap in the league. But what about this place, and where do you think it kind of stands nationally?
I don't think I've seen anything better. Beautiful arena, awesome offices, great practice gym. It's top tier. Top tier.
Peyton, thanks for joining us. When we get back, we'll have Coach's final comments on Poke Nation.
What makes having a local lawyer important is it's all about relationships. When judges know the lawyer and the lawyer has established credibility over time with the court, they know enough to trust what you're telling them. Lake Charles must be a wonderful place because now lawyers all over the state claim that Lake Charles is their hometown. I thought you could only have one hometown, and I know this is ours.
We're back. So did you ever deal with Dale Brown?
I've met him a couple times. Great guy. I mean, obviously, he's an icon in the state.
In the country.
Yeah, him and I was very close to Jerry Tarkanian, years ago because I'd spent time at Fresno when he was at Fresno in Vegas. He was retired when I was at UNLV, but he and Dale Brown were very good friends.
Oh, man, they kind of cut
friends.
out of the same cloth.
100%. And so I, obviously I've met Coach Brown, and I just have a ton of respect for him, and what an icon.
Dale Brown, Jerry Tarkanian would have been amazing in the portal issue years.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
It would own the town.
100%.
So, if with all this, Peyton, get you a game at LSU?
I don't think LSU is
Gonna call you?
is interested in playing us.
You got Dr. Roos there now. You got all these inroads.
Yeah, I don't think Dr. Roos is really. I think he's got bigger things to worry about.
Than to worry about the basketball
than
schedule.
worry about basketball scheduling.
I don't know. He got involved in a lot of things here when it came to sports. So when you're setting up everything, basketball tournament wise, NCAA tournament wise, the tournament here. Is the tournament going to look any different here this year, or is the plans basically the same?
I think that every year, Chris and his staff do a good job of trying to elevate it, right? So I think that it's going to be another elevated experience. One thing that I brought up to him is, obviously the marketing, the ticket sales.
Yeah. They should be starting to market right
100%.
now.
So I think you're going to see that obviously within the next couple of weeks. But so yeah, it's. I think that for the ADs and presidents being able to really host them, I think that will really help. And Chris does a really good job of that, and I think that's going to be elevated. So we're looking forward to it. I think Lake Charles does a great job in hosting it, and hopefully we can put both of our teams in a position to have success.
Well, just having them in is a bonus. You haven't had them both in for a while.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Chris Grant got a new contract.
He did. Really happy about that. And Dr. Roos really pushed that when he was the president of the presidents, if you will. And
president of the presidents.
But I'm really glad that the league, picked it up where Doc left it and got Chris signed.
When does Schwartz get a new contract?
Great question. I don't know.
Well, we're going to have to ask that question to some people here coming up. All right, in your last minute here, when you're starting to think about the spring and that, how ramped up do you get? Do you worry about just the fact that you're not going to be on TV for all the baseball and all the softball? Mm-hmm. You're still going to have basketball on TV for a month and a half, and that. Just what's the coordination like?
It's a lot. I know obviously that it's easy to say that and it's very obvious, but it really is. You think about like men's and women's basketball is on TV, and then you got baseball and softball. It's a very, very busy time, and especially when you get into February and March when all four of those programs are playing, it's a real strain on our staff. What people really don't understand and realize is, like my staff, for the last 4 home games, we really didn't have a day off for the last couple of weeks. So it's a strain, but I have an unbelievable team, and we're going to make it work.
And Gatsby tickets are on sale now?
On sale right now. MAFGatsbyGala.com. I only got about 40 tables left, so if you want a table, you better hurry up and get it.
We'll see you next week.